Okay, students, we have already started this chapter and we have studied certain things about this chapter. Let us do a revision of the previous class. So we have discussed about solution. So what is a solution? Solution is a mixture of solute and solvent. Solute is anything that we add and solvent is anything in which we add. So if we want to get a sugar solution, we add sugar in water. Sugar is a solute and water is a solvent. So we get a sugar solution. Then we also revised about osmosis. What is osmosis? It is the movement of water from a region of high water concentration to a region of low water concentration through selectively permeable membrane. Okay, till and it continues till equilibrium is reached. What is equilibrium? Equilibrium is the stage when the concentration of the water becomes equal on both the sides of the cell membrane, means inside the cell as well as outside the cell. Then we have seen three different types of solution. Number one, hypotonic solution. So what is hypotonic solution? Hypotonic solution, you can see it means that more water concentration is there, and when we keep a living cell inside the hypotonic solution, what will happen to that cell? As the solution is having more water, so more water will go inside the cell and less water will come out of it. So as a result, the cell will swell up. Now let us move to the next, that is hypertonic solution. What is hypertonic? Hyper means more, tonic means concentration. So the solution is having more concentration, means solute is more but the water is less. So when we put the cell inside this hypertonic solution, what will happen? Because the water inside the cell is more, so it will come out and less water will go inside. So as a result, the cell will shrink. Okay, now let us move to the next type of solution, that is isotonic solution. Now what is that? Isotonic means, iso means same, tonic means concentration. So it means that the water concentration on, or we can say the water concentration inside the cell and outside the cell are equal in amount. So equal amount of water will go inside and equal amount of water will come out of the cell. So what will happen to the shape of the cell? It will remain unchanged. So these three things which we have discussed last time, and let us move to the today's topic. Now what we are going to study in today's topic? So the first thing is uses of osmosis and diffusion. Already we have studied about osmosis and diffusion. Let us study more about osmosis and diffusion and their uses. Okay. Then second is types of transport. Now it's a very little topic given in your NCRT. I hope you are reading page number 60. It is given there. I hope you are reading your NCRT. It is given there. Types of transport, passive and active. Okay, and then we are going to study about endocytosis and then about the cell wall. Okay, now uses of osmosis and diffusion. As you can see on the screen, now osmosis means the movement of water from a region of high water concentration to the region of low water concentration. So absorption of water by the roots is a very good example of osmosis, you can see. Then another example is unicellular freshwater organisms and most plant cells, they take the water through the process of osmosis. Absorption of water by plants, already I have told you, is also an example of osmosis. Now, so you might have understood that whenever we talk about movement of water, that is because of osmosis, and whenever we talk about movement of gases, that is because of diffusion. Okay, so movement of gases, exchange of gases, like we know that in our body also we take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, that is a process because of diffusion. In the plants also, plants need carbon dioxide for doing photosynthesis and they give out oxygen, so they also help do exchange of gases, and this exchange of gases is because of the process of diffusion. So these are the examples of diffusion given in your NCRT. Now in addition to this, all these above examples, the cell also gets the nutrition from the environment. So that is also the because by the process of either diffusion or by osmosis. Now let us talk about another very important topic is types of transport. Now what is this type of transport? Now as we know that substances are transported inside the living organisms. Okay. Now inside the plants also the substances are transported. For example, the water is transported from the roots to the leaves. Then you see carbon dioxide is taken up from the stomata and then transported to the cells where chloroplast is present. So you see transport is there in the plants. Okay. So how many types of transport is there? There are basically two types of transport given. Okay, and number one is passive transport. Now you will not find passive transport. The term you will not find in the NCRT, but the this is given in your NCRT. So what is passive transport? Now passive transport is the type of transport in which energy is not used, energy is not utilized. Okay, so for example, let us take the example of diffusion. Okay, diffusion means movement of substances from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. Suppose if we burn an incense stick, agarbatti in any of the place, what will happen? The smell of that agarbatti will spread to the different places. So where is the smell present in more concentration? Near the incense stick. Then it this smell will spread to the other areas where it is not present. So does it require any energy for the for spreading of the smell or for diffusion of the smell? It does not require any energy. So this type of transport is called as passive transport, which does not require energy. But there are other types of transport which cannot take place like this. Like for example, number two is active transport. So active transport is the type of transport in which energy is used. Okay, so there are two types of transport basically based on energy. One in which energy is used and the other one in which energy is not used. So passive transport is the one in which energy is not used. Example is osmosis and diffusion that we have already studied. Then the number two is active transport. It is the type of transport in which energy is utilized. Okay. Now many substances taken by the cell in which they are very important. These substances are very important and the cell has to take them at any cost. So it requires or it uses the energy to absorb these substances or to get these substances from outside the cell. So this or it needs to transport out of the cell also. So many substances move in the cell as well as out of the cell and where energy is utilized. So I hope this is both active and passive transport is clear to you. Now let us move to the next point, and that is endocytosis. Now if you as you see the name, it is made from two words, endocytosis. Endo means inside. Cytosis we can simply say cell. Inside the cell. So we can simply say it means inside the cell. So something is moving inside the cell. Okay. Now how does it moves? Now let us let us study the example of amoeba. Now amoeba is the best example to study endocytosis. Now as you have studied about amoeba and you know that amoeba is a unicellular organism living in the pond, and amoeba does not have any shape. It is irregular in shape and it has finger like structures which are called as pseudopodia. So you can see here in the next slide, as you can see, amoeba diagram is given in A and nucleus and food particle is there. So it has got finger like structure called as pseudopodia, as you can see in this B diagram. You can see pseudopodia is given here. Okay, so this pseudopodia are finger like structures which can be extended from anywhere, any part of the body of amoeba. Now how pseudopodia can be formed by amoeba. That is a very important thing. Now, as we know that cell membrane is flexible. This can only be possible because cell membrane is flexible. Now, this is given in your NCERT page number 60, last paragraph. So, you should underline all those things which I am teaching here. So, because the cell membrane, as you see here, the flexibility of the cell membrane also enables the cell to engulf. Engulf means take it inside or eat. Simply we can say eat. So, the flexibility of the cell membrane enables the cell to take the food in and other material from its external environment. So as you can see here, because the cell membrane is flexible, it can extend it finger like structure called as pseudopodia. As you can see in the diagram, in the third diagram, C diagram, you can see now the pseudopodia slowly covers the food particle, and now food particle is nearly inside the amoeba. And then in the D you can see the food particle is nowhere seen because it is digested by the amoeba. So the food particle enters the amoeba by the process, and this whole process is called as endocytosis. So such processes are known as endocytosis. So amoeba takes its food through such process. And why this is possible? Because only and only because the cell membrane is flexible in nature. This process is also called as phagocytosis. PHAGOCYTOSIS, phagocytosis. I hope you are noting it. So these are the topics that I want to teach you today. About the cell wall we will study in the next class. Okay, in these questions are from NCERT, and I want you to write these questions, and they are there from the NCERT, and you write them in your notebook. So what is the first question? Already we have discussed about all these questions, or means about all these topics we have already discussed in the previous video classes. Number one, who discovered the cells and how? I know you, if you have seen my videos you can easily answer. Then question number two, why is the cell called as a structural and functional unit of the life? Try to find out the answer and write in your copies. Number uh, three question, how do substances like carbon dioxide and water move in and out of the cell? That we have already seen today also. Carbon dioxide can move because of diffusion, water move because of osmosis. But don't write this much only, you explain it. Okay, I'm just giving a hint to write the answer. Why is the plasma membrane called as selectively permeable membrane? Already we have discussed this question. Because it allows only certain substances to move in and out of the cell. So I hope today's topic is clear to all of you. Study well and do all the work on time. Thank you, students.